Szanowni Państwo, witamy bardzo serdecznie w Legends Corner. Jest dzisiaj z nami piłkarz, który w latach 1998-2002 grał w barwach Wisły Kraków. W tym czasie zdobył 2 Mistrzostwa Polski, Puchar Polski, Puchar Ligi. W 67 meczach strzelił 6 bramek, a wśród tych występów były też pamiętne europejskie boje, chociażby z Trabzonsporem czy Barceloną. Był 10. obcokrajowcem w historii Wisły Kraków. Przywitajmy bardzo, bardzo serdecznie, gorącymi brawami Sunday Ibrahim.
Dzień dobry, szanowni państwo. Będziemy starać się, ponieważ Sunday wybrał dzisiaj język angielski jako język wywiadu, ale będę robił wszystko, żeby podczas procesu translacji wyszło dobrze. Jeżeli odpowiedzi będą nieinteresujące, to będę kreatywny. Oczywiście żartuję. Sunday, I was just saying that if your answers will be not that interested, I would try to be creative. Szanowni Państwo, dzisiaj mamy przed sobą gościa, który spędził w Wiśle dobrych kilka lat i jego talent zastopowały kontuzje, ale żeby być precyzyjnym, mamy przed sobą człowieka, który zdobył 2 Mistrzostwa Polski, Puchar Polski oraz Puchar Ligi. Wystąpił w 67 meczach oficjalnych dla Wisły Kraków, strzelił 6 goli i rozegrał pamiętne 90 minut na Camp Nou w 2001 roku z Barceloną. So I'll be switching to English. Hello, Sunday. Good to see you in a good shape.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So, Sunday, we are wondering because we last seen you almost 2 years ago in Krakow. So let's just say in this open question, how you doing?
I'm doing great, like you can see. So, and it's a pleasure to be here with everyone here, looking so bright and beautiful. Thank you.
Szanowni Państwo, zapytałem po pierwsze gościa, co u niego. Jak widzicie, wygląda świetnie i też tak się czuje. But Sunday, just tell us, because you are still looking very young, but you are just a former player right now. But would you be so kind to tell us what you are doing nowadays? Because as far as I know, you are owner of a youth academy or something like that, right?
Yes, like I try to leave football, but I think football wouldn't leave me. So I'm still in the business of football. I own my own academy called Wonder Boys Football Academy back in Nigeria. And I also act as agent for players who are looking for a better life in Europe. So basically that's what I do for now.
Szanowni Państwo, Sunday na co dzień zajmuje się akademią w Nigerii, ale również pomaga młodym talentom z tamtego kraju, by wejść do Europy. One last question. Should we recognize, let's say, one of your talents right now, for example, in Poland or in foreign countries?
I have a player here called Adisa Monsuru, who had a chance to be in Puszcza a few years ago. I tried bringing him to Wisła actually. He trained with the second team of Wisła for about 10 days, but eventually the contract did go through. So he's one of like the few that I have here. I have others in like other countries in Asia, in Indonesia precisely. So for now, yeah, but in Poland, I have just one major player. Others are in the low division.
Szanowni Państwo, mogliśmy spotkać chociażby talent ze szkółki Sundaya w Puszczy Połomice, ale również chociażby w klubach belgijskich. Okay, let's go back to the past for a while. You were born in Ibadan, and I'm wondering what looks let's say the regular life in Ibadan like 40 years ago. I know that's hard to remind, but just ask, how was your childhood look like?
If I have to go back in time, my childhood life was all about because we're talking about the years where there was no internet. I didn't have my own phone. don't even have the privilege of having the to watch games online like we have today, right? So what I do for fun after school was just football. So it's like we play in school, we play on the streets, and that's what my childhood was all about because I never had the privilege of what children have today, like, having a phone to yourself, uh, the computer or the internet. So all of that, unfortunately, I didn't have that privilege. So because it wasn't available in my time. So what I do for fun and for life was basically football.
Surely, surely. So, proszę Państwa, jak zastanawiamy się, jak wyglądało życie w Ibadanie, to nasz dzisiejszy gość, tak jak wielu z nas w młodym wieku, po prostu uwielbiał grać w piłkę, a że były to czasy bez internetu, no to tym bardziej to granie w piłkę weszło, chociażby na ulicy czy na boisku, weszło w krew. Okay. I think we need to come back a little bit further to your beginning of your journey in Europe. So there is one Polish guy, one gentleman, who was a part of a creator of your transfer to Wisła Kraków, and this one is also hard to spell in Polish. Czesław Boguszewicz. So. Who was that gentleman?
Mr. Boguszewicz was, he happens to come to Nigeria to be my trainer. The last club I played in Nigeria before I came to Poland was Niger Dog Football Club of Lagos. And in that team, Mr. Boguszewicz came to Nigeria and he was my trainer for like 6 months. So that was the first contact that I had with him. And at the end of his stay, I had a call one day because he normally encouraged me during training and matches, but he never told me that he had the intention of bringing me to Poland. But I got a call one day and I reported at the club and I was told that there's an invitation waiting for me to go to Poland because Mr. Boguszewicz actually recommended me to a team in Poland, and he told me it's one of the best teams, and if I'm interested, then I can take advantage of that. And that was how the journey began.
Surely. Szanowni Państwo, w karierze Sundaya pojawiła się osoba z Polski jeszcze przed tym, jak pojawił się w Europie. Trener Czesław Boguszewicz to była ta osoba, która w bardzo młodym wieku zdecydowała się na ściągnięcie Sundaya do Europy, poznając się na jego talencie. No i tak trafił też był jego trenerem przez 6 miesięcy i tak trafił do Europy. So, I was wondering, if it's just the Wisla who wants you at that time, or you have many proposals but choose Krakow instead of the other clubs?
At that point in time, it was just Wisła actually. I have other option that I have was back in Nigeria. Like I have many other clubs in the Premier League that wanted me to play for them, but in Europe, that very year it was actually only Wisła Kraków.
That's what we want to hear. Szanowni Państwo, zapytałem, czy Sunday miał inne propozycje poza Wisłą Kraków. No i Sunday zadeklarował nam, szanowni Państwo, że w Polsce była to tylko Wisła. To coś, co chyba chcielibyśmy usłyszeć. Okay, before we kick out to the dressing room, which is most interesting, I was wondering how it looks like for you the first time, let's say, saw the climate with 4 seasons and all of what you see in Poland during winter time.
Wow. Coming to Poland was, I don't even know how best to describe it, but from the very first day that I arrived from the airport, it was snowing seriously. Because I remember that from Warsaw, we were to come to Kraków directly, but we couldn't come to Kraków because they say the weather was terrible. So we had to go to Katowice. And from Katowice, we drove down to Kraków. That was my first time ever of seeing snow. And eventually I went to bed and woke up the next day and everywhere was white. So it was a beautiful view, but at the same time, it was like a shock to me what I saw that day and how cold it was. I had to, when I stepped out, I had to run back inside first before eventually I got used to it. But it was a good experience.
For sure, for sure. Szanowni Państwo, chciałem zapytać, jak wyglądała aklimatyzacja Sundaya, kiedy pierwszy raz zobaczył kraj z 4 porami roku, a dotarł do nas w zimie. Także Sunday wspomina, że było pięknie, ale dla niego dosyć zaskakująco, ponieważ no, nie spodziewał się takiej zmiany klimatu w tak krótkim czasie. No to co, przejdziemy do debiutu. Let's go back to your very first match in Wisła Kraków with your also former club Ostrowiec. Do you remember anything from this match beside of the winning goal?
Absolutely. It's like I've been waiting for my chance, and that week we had a full training the whole week, and by the time the team to travel was called, I wasn't in the lineup. So of course I felt disappointed because I really wanted to have my chance. So we had a training on, I think it was supposed to be a Saturday, with the second team. And while in the dressing room preparing for training, the call came from Wazarek to the trainer of the second team that they should bring me to the game. And that was how we traveled all the way to Ostrowec from Kraków, match day, because I wasn't part of the plan initially. So, but we got there and he asked me, "Can you play today?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm ready. If I have the chance, of course." So he told me I shouldn't worry, that I will just be on the bench and at the right time he will give me a chance. So and eventually my time came. It was definitely towards the end of the game, and to the glory of God, I had that winning goal for the team, and I think that's the most amazing match that I remembered for in my time in Wisła, and also for the fact that I wasn't part of the team initially, but I can tell you today that truly I was praying for God to give me that chance to actually come out to represent Wisła, and when I got it, I didn't waste it. But it's not by my strength, but by the help of God Almighty. Thank you.
Fully understandable. Szanowni Państwo, oczywiście całość tłumaczenia wypowiedzi Sundaya będziemy mogli obejrzeć na wideo, natomiast trzeba pamiętać, że Sunday w tym meczu nie był wybrany do pierwszego składu, ani nawet na ławkę rezerwową. Został powołany z zespołu rezerwowego. Sunday deklarował nam, że był pewny siebie i chciał pokazać swoje umiejętności na boisku w pierwszym zespole. Był też zaskoczony, że nie był wybierany przez trenera Łazarka jako piłkarz pierwszego składu. No i co? Wierzył w to, że jeżeli dostanie szansę, to strzeli tego gola. No i wchodząc w 72 minucie, 7 minut później zdecydował o wyniku meczu. Let me just ask you about the trainers, because the very first one was Wojciech Łazarek. Then you have some chances to play from Jerzy Kowalik. As a substitute trainer for a while, but first trainer who believes in you was Franciszek Słuda, right? That was a part of a dad-son relationship.
Yes, of course. I mean, with Wazarek, I think I had a good time, but he explained to me that it wasn't easy for him. He believed I was a very good player, that I have great talent, but it's also difficult for him to put me in the first team because he has so many good players who are also playing for the national team at the time. So for a young boy to come and take their place wasn't something he was going to do. He wasn't ready yet to take that kind of risk, but he just told me I should be patient, that my time will come. Well, there was nothing I could do because at that time I really appreciate the trainer, and especially for him giving me enough respect to explain to me the situation. So even though I wasn't happy about it, but I had to accept it. And with Kovalik, I think up to today we have a very good relationship because he's one of the best human beings that I've met in Poland. He's got a very wonderful heart, a great human being, and I will always respect him. But with Smoother was, yeah, I had my best time with Smoother because eventually he believed in me and he was willing to take the risk. I know it was a risk for him to put a young player, a young foreigner, in place of the homeboys who are much older than me, much experienced than me, and everything. But he told me, if you're going to work hard like this, I'll give you a chance, and if you take it, you remain in the team. And that was exactly what I did.
That's what the description of Franciszek Smuda actually is. Szanowni Państwo, trzeba pamiętać, że debiut Sundaya w Wiśle Kraków nastąpił przed 18 urodzinami. I was telling that your debut was just before your 18th birthday, so the great gift. I trzeba pamiętać, że mimo tego, że debiutował u trenera Łazarka, a później serdecznie pozdrawiamy, grał u trenera Kowalika, to tak naprawdę uwierzył w niego Franciszek Smuda i stworzył z Sundayem taką relację father-son, jak najbardziej tata i syn. Franciszek Smuda powiedział Sundayowi, że wierzy w jego umiejętności, musi poczekać na szansę, ale ten numer 10 będzie należał do niego. A teraz, drodzy Państwo, mamy jeszcze kilka minut. Ja zapytam o to, jak wyglądała ta legendarna szatnia Wisły Kraków w opinii Sundaya Ibrahima. I was just telling to our Polish guests of the stadium how it looked like from your perspective. This, I think, we can all admire, all admit that how it looks like this legendary dressing room of Wisła Kraków at that time. You've been there with Ryszard Czerwiec, Krzysztof Bukalski. You substitute him during your debut. Yeah, but other central midfielders like Kulawik, for example. So who was the, let's say, the leader of this dressing room? Maybe you have some anecdotes about this period.
Well, as far as I can remember now, there was always a beautiful atmosphere at the dressing room, and like you mentioned, there are so many great players at that time. If I think backwards now, there was a match that Poland played against San Marino, I think, in Ostrowcu, and that match, about 8 Wisła players started that game for Poland. So that is to tell you the kind of the caliber of players that Wisła Kraków had back then. So in our dressing room were amazing players, amazing talents. When it comes to leadership, you know, of course we know Kulawik was the captain, but in the dressing room, Kulawik was a very gentleman, and he doesn't talk too much. But people like
Ryszard Czerwiec?
No, not Chervet. The big man, Kazek Vengeance.
Yeah,
Kazek Vengeance. He was the man in the dressing room and on the field. Even when we're playing, he's the one that you always hear his voice. He has this very deep voice. When he shout Panovie, you know, everybody wakes up. So, of course, Cherviat, all of them, you know, Kałużny and all these great players, they were all good leaders, but I think Kazek was one voice that comes ahead of others.
Szanowni Państwo, zapytałem o liderów tamtej szatni. Wspominałem Ryszarda Czerwca czy Tomasza Kulawika, Krzysztofa Bukalskiego, a Padła zaskakująca odpowiedź. Kazimierz Węgrzyn, według opinii Sundaya Ibrahima, był tym liderem w szatni, no i tym big manem. Szanowni Państwo, mamy jeszcze, na pewno przekonamy Sundaya do tego, żebyśmy zrobili dłuższy materiał, być może w sklepie naszym fanstorze. Natomiast no muszę jeszcze zapytać na koniec, no jak to było na tym Camp Nou? I was just wondering because we need to stop this one, but eventually we'll do an invitation for a longer one in our fan store to describe your career because it's lots of ups and downs, but lots of talent also. So I was wondering about let's say to stop it here about the question about your returning from the injury time, and you are entering the legendary stadium of Camp Nou after the legendary epic game in Krakow. It's just that 3-4 lose with Barcelona, and then you are entering Camp Nou. How it feels to enter the, let's say, this church of the football?
Thank you very much. Personally, I'm a fan of Barcelona.
I don't like you anymore.
I'm a fan of Barcelona, and at that point in time, one of my very close friends was also playing in Barcelona from Nigeria. Benga Okonawa was his name. So I had very close relationship with Barcelona at this point in time. And as a young boy, it has always been my dream to play for Barcelona. Unfortunately, I couldn't realize that, but I'm happy that I was able to play in that stadium. Going into Camp Nou was like a dream come true. And being privileged to play 90 minutes in Camp Nou was, I would take as another achievement for me. But, the whole atmosphere was amazing. It's something I can't describe with words. So, but the game itself, it's painful to me because I can't say I have regrets because I didn't play what I wish to play, but I was able to fulfill the tactic and the plan of my coach, which was smoother. Because in this game, we lost 4-3 in Krakow, and my opinion was that we should go there, believe ourselves, and then go for the win. If we win, okay, and if not, we accept it. We are the underdog, right? But we played defensively. Because I had to play defensive game. My assignment was to follow Kluivert, so to make sure that Patrick Kluivert did not play at all, and I think I was satisfied that I was able to do that, but unfortunately we lost the game 1-0. So
For sure,
that's just
that was a great match of Artur Sarnat also. Sunday, unfortunately, we need to stop it right here, but definitely we'll do an invitation to, let's say, jump to whole of your career because it's lots of interesting stories. I prepare for definitely more than that. Today I want to thank you very much. To switch to Polish. Szanowni Państwo, dzisiaj z nami był Sunday Ibrahim, ale to na pewno nie będzie ostatnia rozmowa z Sundayem, bo z tego co wiemy, zostaje u nas do końca sierpnia. Sunday are just telling that you are staying here till the end of the August, so I think we need to talk more about your career. Thank you very much for today. And last question, what will be the result today?
I believe Wisła will win. I don't know exactly how many goals, but I'm very sure that Wisła will win today.
That's what I like to hear. Thank you very much.